I always tell agents, I say, hey, even if you've never been taught those disciplines of what you need to do to be successful, because I wasn't. I had to learn those things. Mm-hmm. There's always hope for newer agents who still want to get into the business if they are coachable and they're humble to be able to listen. Mm-hmm. So for agents who are out there, if you don't have any of those backgrounds, don't be discouraged. If you come in, you're humble and you're coachable, you can be able to add on new habits and disciplines into your life to be able to help you start getting results a lot faster.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Life Insurance Academy podcast. I'm here with Chris, and he's on this side of the table. You know what that means. It
feels a little weird.
You know what that means.
Yeah.
You know what that means. We got special guests on that side of the table. We're holding them back. Guys, it's been 2 years. 2 years, and what an incredible journey these two have been on. We wanted to have them back. 2-year anniversary update. A check-in with the boys from Columbus, Ohio, True Wealth, Jalon, Talley, Mike, Kwarteng. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Yeah. Let's go.
Man, run it back.
How's it going?
Great, Avengers Unite.
That's
great.
Avengers Unite.
As long as I don't have to be chubby Thor.
Adam's got some graphics for that, I'm sure. We're going to get some Avengers.
That's right.
Graphics for that. What's going on? Give us an update.
Man, 2 years ago, same month, right?
Same month.
It's crazy.
2 years. 2-year anniversary.
Yeah, it's amazing. Good time.
Yeah.
It's been a great 2 years. That first one was a great podcast. Really blew us up, and a lot of recruits, a lot of business growth there, and now it's even more. It's a great.
Yeah. Tell us about what's happened with True Wealth since that podcast.
There's been a lot happening.
Right. I think we contracted like 600 agents
over
that 2-year time frame. Contract.
What?
Yes.
Are all of them writing, Chris? No,
probably not.
Yeah.
No. We know what that means, right?
You know.
Yeah.
And like I was looking at, we had a morning training calls for our team, and looking at our sales back in 2 years ago, like June of 2022, we were doing like 35,000 in sales. It was like me and Jalon, like 5 other agents. Majority of me and Jalon doing the sales.
A month.
Yeah. A month, right.
Yeah.
Now this month in September, we're going to do about 450,000 in submitted business.
All right.
Life insurance sales.
Look at that, guys. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
I'm so proud.
Yeah.
I'm so
okay,
proud.
now we're doing 5.
Yeah. I went for the 5. You went to give me a knuckle. We were doing one of these things here. I was rock, paper, scissors.
What is that? I mean, what is that growth mathematically? Like, it was 35. It's who's the math expert in the room?
Is it 12?
Is it 1,000?
12X?
It's about 1,000%, right?
It's 12x for sure. Something like that.
1,000%.
Well, 10 is 3. 10 would be 3.
Yeah, about 15%.
Yeah.
Well, 15x. 15x.
Yeah.
15?
15x, yeah.
Not bad for 24 months.
Not at all.
No.
And
What happened? Why? What happened?
Good grief.
Well, we start hanging out with guys like you more often. But honestly, just go ahead, Jalon.
Yeah, there's been a few things that happened. You know, we got connected with a lot of good people like yourselves, right, including Zach, right? And other key factors, you know, that we've been able to connect with, like mentors, coaches, who have really been able to pour into us and instill in us a lot of good principles that we need to have when it comes to building a business. Because when we first came on the podcast, we were just great agents.
Yeah.
We were doing 20, 30,000 a month, but we didn't know how to transfer what me and Mike knew and instill it into a process where we can train and coach other agents. But with coaching and mentoring from you guys were able to show us exactly how we need to structure and build out systems so other agents can be able to follow exactly what we're doing, right? Because if it works for us, it can work for other people.
That's right.
So when other agents started to come in and follow our process, you know, the results started to pick up. You know, now we have agents like a Caroline or a Jaclyn or, you know, a lot of different agents who's come in from this podcast that you guys have been able to bless us with to be on. they're doing now, like they took our process and they're doing 30,000. Jaclyns best month was 69,000. And other agents nowadays, we go from me and Mike were doing 20 to 30,000. Now other agents are doing 30, 40,000 a month consecutively every single month, just because they robbed and duplicated what we were doing. Yeah. And, you know, we want to give a lot of shout out to the agents who came in and followed that process, because like Mike said, hey, we got 600 contracted agents, but we got about 70 writers now. Yeah. And
isn't it amazing the difference between how many say they want to do something and how many actually do it?
Yeah. It's
right? Were you shocked? Are you shocked when you think about that number?
I'm not shocked now.
Mike isn't. I still am. You know, because I want every single time an agent comes on and says they want to win, I put them in a category where, like, okay, they're serious about this. Like they're coming to me with high hopes to want to win, but when they actually get into the business, it's not what they expected it to be. Like,
well,
hey,
they hit adversity.
Well, yeah, you actually have to work. Like this isn't just network marketing, like where you can go in and sign up for something and then, you know, just have people enroll into a product and think you're gonna make money. No, you have to be able to come in, get your license, find an agency, and then you have to get to work afterwards.
Let me address this, because I think you're hitting an important part of this space, this industry. We have a lot of new agents or soon-to-be agents who listen to our podcast, right? I don't think a lot of them think I'm going to be that person who doesn't write an application. Or if I do this, I'm doing it.
I'm not going to be one of the 88%.
Right.
Because you literally have a 12% retention growth ratio out of the 600. It's 12, which is actually higher than industry standard of only 8.
It's amazing,
right? So you've actually increased it significantly over what the standard is, but still, it's a huge disparity.
Right.
So I don't think anybody thinks they're going to be in the 88%.
No, and I would guess there's a lot of 88%ers who are listening to our podcast, who gave it a shot. It didn't work out for whatever reason. I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Or they feel like they're slipping and they're going to be one of the 88%. Yeah.
Like, if you were to talk to them in a coaching situation, what would you say to them right now? Right on the spot. Boom. What would you say to them?
I would say make a decision.
Yeah.
Because they probably were coming in, they had a great week or a great month, hit some adversity, and then when the adversity hit, they're trying to think, well, that job on LinkedIn sure does look good. You know what I mean? Yeah. So making a decision to go all in and give yourself like 3 to 6 months of following your coach every week, you know, buying enough leads and following the system. And it should work out. I haven't seen many agents go into business 6 months in a row doing what their coach told them to do and not see success.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say, if you are in the business and you have experience, no matter if it's 3 months, 4 months, 5, or even a year or 2, the biggest thing that I always see agents struggling with is that they get too high and then they feel like they don't need to continue to do what they were doing at first to get them the results.
Right. Let me ask you a question with that, because you both have addressed that in a certain way here. Of those 88% that have gone through this system with you guys, how many of the 88% percentage-wise do you think did exactly what you're saying? They hit a high, flattened out, and then I don't want to whistle too loud. But.
Yeah, I would say at least a good 50%.
Yeah. Some of them may never even get to the high. Some of them may never even hit the high.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do.
To Jalen's point, though, it's funny because Jalon always mentions me. Agents always finish our new. We have a new agent training process. It's a live Zoom call, 3 days in a row, very interactive, and they always come out of new agent training selling a lot of business.
Wow.
And then, you know how it goes. They're like, well, I'm going to cut corners. I'm going to maybe rush through my discovery part of the client now. I'm going to maybe just try to find my own thing. And then they go out of the system.
It's crazy, man.
Like self-sabotage.
Right.
Yeah.
So
don't they sound like us?
Yes, they do.
I love that. They do. It makes my heart feel so good to know that you guys can see the same things.
Yeah.
Because this is the reality of what goes on. People get in, they get enough traction to start making it, and then they start changing everything, pulling themselves out of the ecosystem, right? Are you ready to launch your insurance career? Excel Solutions is your go-to leader in life, accident, and health insurance pre-license training. Their cutting-edge e-learning platform is packed with rich content. Think interactive assessments, engaging videos, and customized learning paths, all tailored to your learning style. Being students ourselves, we've trusted Excel now for years to deliver top-notch training, offering high pass rates. Their streamlined prep review courses and the exam simulator are really your secret weapons to nailing the state exam the very first time. Now, you thought it couldn't get any better. Well, it just did. Life Insurance Academy listeners, you receive an epic 50% discount, reducing the regular course fee from $199 to only $99. So, all you have to do is use discount code LIA at checkout at liapodcast.org/Excel. Now, Excel spells XCEL. So don't think about it any longer. Dive headfirst into your insurance career with Excel Solutions' premier pre-licensed training with that exclusive 50% discount just for you. Get the code, get licensed, and excel in your insurance career. We were talking earlier about what's the environment for an agent. So if you're watching today, one of the things I'm going to be asking these guys is, what is the success formula that they've seen out of those 70 plus writing agents to do? How much did you say a month? $450,000 a month. If you think about what is the success formula, like if you had to categorize 5 or 6 main areas, that's what we're going to be getting into of what distinguishes someone from that 88 to a 12.
And it's really not 88, because there are 50% of the 88 who didn't have what it took.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You had 50% who had what
actually
it took.
had initial success.
Yeah. Yeah. So they had it.
Yeah.
So that's what's interesting to me, especially for these new people who are watching. It's, it's just fascinating. I think everybody kind of does it. You're not sure if you can do it. And then within writing some business, you start to feel really good. And now you are the ingredient that made it successful. It's not that far a space. It's pretty wild.
No, it is.
So, but you have the folks who can't, who won't, and then you have the people who have abandoned the system.
Exactly.
So
Ultimately, according to their numbers, about 56% of the people either launch and sustain, or launch successfully, deviate, and then fail and bail out.
Yeah.
And which gets them back to that 12. But
Correct.
56%.
Correct. Yeah.
That's a great number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do we close the gap? So what's the success formula? Now that you guys have been in it 2 years, and you say these are some of the things that we've seen that create success for
Grab your
agents.
crayons and your pencils.
Yeah, this is note taking.
Seriously, this is a note-taking podcast.
When these guys came, they were great producers. And you had how many agents when you came and when you did that first coaching session with us? You said like 7?
7.
Yeah,
And you guys were 2 of them.
You were 2 of them.
They had 10 and they had 2 writers.
And then
2 writers.
Jalen's brother was one of them.
And who do you have left out of those?
One.
Just one.
Jalen's brother. Right? Jalen's brother.
Yeah.
Right? Family bloodlines do go
Yeah.
deep. So that's good. I'm glad we kept Aaron. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
So, like, going from that to this story, you guys have seen agents who fail, agents who succeed. What's that success formula look like if you had to identify some of those things?
Great question.
Great
right?
question. I would say there's really, I'm not going to say there's really a big formula
Give them
about
one.
it.
He's going
Yeah, there's really not a big formula, honestly. My coach in
What
high
are some
school,
of the big things?
Yeah, so I'll say this. My coach in high school always used to tell me, she said, Jalon, your potential is so great, but your lack of hard work is going to keep you from getting to the next level. And I'm like, but I'm the best player out here. Jumping over everybody, mossing people, play receiver, right? I was the best player.
Mossing people.
But
It's Randy Moss, Roger.
there was
the American football, National Football League.
but there were other guys, who were
He hated it when he went to Oakland.
He did.
He just sat on the bench and touted. See, you didn't think I knew about Randy Moss.
Good job. I'm impressed.
yeah,
Who was it that took you to that Michigan game?
True.
That would be me.
Yes.
There were other guys who were more hardworking than I was, and they end up getting better results and were able to go to the next level and play, just because they were very hardworking.
Yeah.
So if I can give anybody any type of success secret that it is, and then you can come in, Mike. I would say that the hardest working agent who's not afraid to commit to the process of going from, hey, if your phone sells, let me go from 10 a.m. all the way to 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock at night. You're going to make money if you follow the system and process. If you're a face-to-face agent, hey, if you can go from 10 a.m. until 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock at night,
Yes.
just driving your car, you're going to stumble across policies. Even if you're a mediocre agent, if you follow that system, you get leads, you go show up every single day, you're going to stumble across applications and make six figures in this business, right? The second part will be find an organization that you could be able to plug into who has a system and a process that's trusted and proven.
Yeah. Real quick, back to the first one real quick, committed to the process. That's so good. I call it ripping the Band-Aid off. I always tell agents, do you want to get better later or you want to get better now?
Yeah.
Do you want to get to the high closing rates later or we want to do it now? So let's just do more now. Let's do a lot now. And let's get better later, you know? So when it comes to, when we train and coach agents now, they think it's so foreign to work a 10, 11 hour day.
Yeah.
But we encourage that in the beginning because we want you to go through this whole figuring out the sales and figuring out there's only really 4 objections client give you and they're all the same. Figuring out the whole leads and like let's do more now in the beginning.
Yeah.
And by month, after 30 to 45 days, your sales will go up tremendously. Like Jaclyn came in, and I remember her Jaclyn so well because her first week, she was working Saturday evenings until 8 or 9 o'clock. She's calling me. I'm having an old fashioned and a steak dinner. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you calling me for? Like, it's 8 o'clock on a Saturday. But she
Tell me
wanted
more about the steak dinner.
but she wanted to get better so quickly, you know.
She's a student.
She's a student, you know. We have a new agent
she
recently.
was joining my dial sessions every single day. Hey, she was reaching out to me first. Hey, Jalon, can we hop on a dial session really quick? It was just me and her from 10 o'clock all the way to 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. And she's like, hey, can you unmute? I unmuted my line. I was like, hey, Jaclyn, you unmute. She unmuted, and she just kept getting better. So when you hear her presentation now, it sounds very, very similar to mine.
Wow. Do you have those recorded at all? Like her first ones? And
I don't. I wish I did. I wish I did. But like everybody, when people hear Jaclyn Dow, they will say, man, and then they hear me Dow, they say, man, your presentation sounds exactly like Jalyn's. And she's like, yeah, I was on the phone with them for 90 days straight, just him and I just dialing, and everything he told me to do, I did. And there's no mystery to it. No wonder why she's having the results she's getting. Caroline's the same exact way.
And Jaclyn, let's give a reference for people listening because they don't know who Jaclyn is. Who's Jaclyn? How did she come to you? What was she doing before she got here?
So Jaclyn was playing college hoop basketball, brand new to insurance, started last year, September of 2023. And then in December of 2023, did 69,000 in sales.
She's been consecutively doing over 25, 30,000 a month. She just did 17,000 this past week in sales.
But brand new to insurance, that had no experience at all.
Right out of college.
Yeah, but
basketball player.
But she like literally did the whole committed to the process, like went all in, put in a lot of hours, sacrifice, obviously. But now, trust me, you call Jaclyn right now, she does not work close to 30 to 40 hours a week. She's probably working like 15. But her skill set is so good now where she can get away with just doing a few calls a day and make that many sales.
Do you think that comes from her discipline as an athlete and what she had to do to skill up there?
Yeah, for sure.
She's real competitive too.
Yeah. I mean, athletes, they understand the practice. They understand the grind to fight for the spot to play, right?
Exactly.
You don't want to be on the bench. You know that.
Exactly.
You know that. You know that. Correct. Your coach said your work ethic was going to keep you back. Right?
Yeah.
And he was right.
He was right. 1,000%.
It's cool to see someone committing to the process. And doesn't it make you so proud when you see someone who's emulated the process? Not because it's a pat on your back, but because they've actually taken it and owned it for themselves, and now they're having massive success, and you can see how it's literally changing their life.
Yeah.
And you're like, I had just a little hand in that.
I know.
Yeah. And
That's how we feel about you guys.
Yeah, me and Mike, we talk about that all the time. Like, we don't produce as much, but anytime we have a new agent that just come out of new agent training and they get their first app, me and Mike are literally like high-fiving each other.
Yeah.
Like, man, that's what I'm talking about. It's kind of like we wrote it.
That's right.
We get more joy out of seeing agents write
Mm-hmm.
a $600 AP policy, and then us writing our own $2,000 policy because we took an agent from point A to point B, and now they're starting to get it. So I know you're about to mention another agent.
Was I? Oh yeah, I was.
Castle, I imagine.
Castle. So Castle is also kind of doing the whole commit to the process now.
Yeah.
And man, real hardworking guy. But I told hey Castle, your first month, your first 90 days, you're gonna be at a 5% closing rate over the phone.
Yeah.
And he just hated that. And like, but now he's in his 30th day, and he's at a 15% closing rate right now.
That's perfect. That's a great progression.
You know what I mean?
That's what I would hope to see.
So it's like he was at a 5% his first 2 or 3 weeks. Now, like this last week, we did his numbers. He closed on 15% of his sales over the phone.
That's a
Brand new
massive,
to
massive
insurance.
difference.
How old is Castle?
Massive difference.
He's 28.
And how much did he do this
He
week?
did 24,000 in sales his first 4 weeks
That's
over the
awesome.
phone.
And 3 of those weeks were 5% closing.
5% close rate.
I would say 2 weeks 5%,
And then
third
bumped.
week's probably like 10%,
Yeah.
and last week just now 15%.
It's like
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's leveling up fast.
You know, but he was putting some massive work in though.
Yeah. But it comes back though from, the habits that agent has. When you look at like a Caroline, the reason why she was so good is because her habits transfer from her cycling classes and also from her being a top student in college.
Well, Carolyn was on the podcast. So for those of you who are listening and watch the podcast, you can check out the link to her episode. Caroline found these guys on the interview that you did with us, reached out, got connected with them, and she actually came to one of our telesales boot camps that you were in. You helped actually lead that one. And she cried both days in a row because she didn't think she could make it. And now she's a leader because she was committed to the process. So Caroline's got a great episode. You got to go back and listen to that one. So that's who they're referencing there, Caroline.
And then when you look at Jaclyn, her sports background, hardworking, no excuses. And then we look at Castle, he comes from solar.
Oh, wow.
And he was telling me he used to drive 9 hours
Yeah.
to just go to a different state just to be able to sell solar.
Yeah.
So when he gets on the phone, he came to us, he's like, man, all I gotta do is just sit on my phone and just make phone calls all day. Man, this is easy.
No more knocking doors.
So perspective is completely different. He can sit on the phone all day and make phone calls, and he's crushing it.
Wow.
Right? And
Love it.
I always tell agents, I say, hey, even if you've never been taught those disciplines of what you need to do to be successful, because I wasn't. I had to learn those things. There's always hope for newer agents who still want to get into the business if they are coachable.
Yeah.
And they're humble to be able to listen. So for agents who are out there, if you don't have any of those backgrounds, don't be discouraged. If you come in, you're humble and you're coachable, you can be able to add on new habits and disciplines into your life to be able to help you start getting results a lot faster. I'm a walking testament of that. Mike is also a walking testament of that.
Yeah.
And I think there's a couple of points I want to make, but the coachability is being able to hear information and implement.
Yes.
And it's hard to have one without the other, because you will have, on your team, I'm sure you guys have seen it, you will hear hearers who take in information. I'll challenge people who listen to the podcast. You've almost inoculated yourself from success because you have a wealth of knowledge that you haven't tried to implement. It makes you feel good that you got the knowledge, but you aren't taking the action. So that's that coachability. It's got to be the two sides, or it's either entertainment or it's you trying to figure things out yourself. But when you have those two pieces, man, it's a machine that's running correctly. The other thing I want to point out is the system, and you guys have referenced system repeatedly. You've referenced
Process. They've said the word process, but I equate it to system.
System, correct. And earlier you had said, if you find a system that's proven, the thing I like about what you guys do is you provide a principled system. Like there's a meaning and a reason behind what you do.
Correct.
And I do think there are systems that produce, but I don't think, I think you have to look at the longer story. Like at least we have 2 years of story with you guys and the growth and what we've seen with you, because I do think there are systems that produce that are not principled, and they may show high production, but they're not telling the story of people changing
The
or
life change
consistent
trajectory.
change
Right.
of people who are involved in their system. So
Right.
principled system is a big part of that I see in what you guys are doing.
So these guys have said, Jalon referred to it as hard work, great work ethic. You kind of said two things in one. I'm going to split them up. Number two, commitment to the process. Go all in.
Right.
Which you equate to hard work, right?
Yeah.
A commitment to the process and hard work, they go hand in hand.
Correct.
You could be a hard worker and you're just not committed to that process, and you're trying to do your own thing hard.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You're not going to find, that's just terrible.
long road to hoe.
And then that kind of leads into the third one, which was find the right organization or find the right community, because that's where the process and the system comes from. That's what you were getting ready to say. Yeah. So I'm going to throw it back to you now on this third one here that you started to hit
Find
on.
the right organization.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah.
I love that one. I'm going to take one of your sayings, Rogers. That's okay with you.
Yeah.
I took in a few of them. This is the one I use the most. Success happens in communities, and failure can happen in isolation. So find the right organization that can be, you could be in a community that is vibrant, is upbeat. It has alignment with what you have, your core values. It has good leadership, good resources, good products. Comp is not everything, but it plays a small factor. You know what I mean? So I feel like with our organization, we have all of that. We have great leaders like you guys with us. We have great resources. So I think having an organization that has all of that is key. What do you think, Jalon?
Yeah. This I'm a scripture guy, so I got to take it to it. The scripture essentially says where the head go, the body follows. If the head is chopped off, the body becomes disoriented. It can't really do much, like having a chicken and you cut off his head and the body just starts running around.
Yeah.
And then eventually ends up dying out. So when it comes to an organization, we got to make sure as the head, if you're looking for an organization, you got to make sure that head that you're looking to fall underneath in leadership has somebody that they're following. Because the greatest leaders are the ones who are students first.
Yeah.
So for us, we are always pouring into our agents a lot because we have coaches and mentors like you guys who can be able to pour into us so we can then take it back to our organization so then they can grow. I see a lot of time happening where the leader of an organization thinks he is the man, he's macho, his way or the highway.
Right.
And a lot of organizations aren't winning because of that, because, hey, you may have a leader who the results work for him alone, but he doesn't have a process where it can work for other people. And for us, we want to make sure we're always finding and connecting with people who have better results than us, because we don't know what we don't know.
Right.
So we want to make sure we're always pouring into our agents what we learn from y'all and from other coaches as well, so we can be able to take it back to our community and say, hey, y'all won't know what we just found out, but this is what you guys need to start implementing here.
I call it like just, I love just to outvalue the agent. I am looking to outvalue like all the time. Man. Like if an agent comes on, like I'm reaching out to you more than you're reaching out to me. And until you prove me that I can't maybe trust what you're telling me, as in like you're going to do this and you don't do it, then okay, well I'm going to maybe pull back a little bit because it's a commitment thing. It works both ways. But when an agent joins our team, Jalon knows this, I'm reaching out to them like morning, day, but it's to make sure they're progressing the way that, make sure they're hitting their goals.
Yeah, he literally hand holds agents. Mike is the best man for the job when it comes to that. If I were doing that, I always tell people, because I do a lot of the trainings, but I always tell people, hey, if I had to do what Mike was doing, nothing would get done. I'm going to be honest. Like, that's why his role is great for him, because he cares about people's results. I do as well, but he really wants to make sure those new agents in their first 90 days, they are getting everything that they need, all the resources, all the nutrients that they need to be able to get results. Because the first 90 days is the most vital for any agent who comes in. And that's the biggest window where agents either grow or they end up failing and weeding out. Yeah. So Mike literally is, I always tell people, if they fail within our organization, it's not because of us, because our number one motto is, hey, we put agents first over compensation.
Yeah.
Right? We don't produce that much. We can still go out there and produce, but we don't produce that much because we care so much about the agent's success because it helps us feel good, right? Like we'll sit on the dial session we have like our system, we have a dial session every single day. I'm not producing on the dial sessions, but I'm sitting on there. Mike is sitting on there nowadays as well. And agents can get on there and listen to, and we're listening to them, giving them immediate feedback, instant feedback to help them get results. And that's how Castle got so good so quick, is because he's on those dial sessions every single day, and we're just giving them feedback real time. So when it comes to our process and our system and our community, the number one factor that we always have is just making sure that we're humbling ourselves and putting the agent first to make sure that they're getting the best results that they can.
Inside of the organization, you talk about organization. Mike, you made me smile again when you said outvalue.
I know, took that from you too.
I love that. He's hitting me today. This is great stuff. This is a term that we've said, outvalue everybody else, and they will find a reason to continue to want to work with you if you outvalue people. That's just the way it is in life. I mean, if you want to be a great husband, outvalue. If you want to be a great father, outvalue. If you want to be a great friend, outvalue. So it's, what can I do? How can I help? That's the leading question. So inside the organization, one of the things that was really cool, you invited me to one of your morning calls. You call it the Breakfast Club or something like that? Talk about the Breakfast Club and what goes on in there.
That's so cool. So we have a morning call on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for 1 hour a day at 9 a.m. Eastern time. We get on there, I get on there, and we train, we role play. We role play all the objections you'll see as an agent, all of them, every single one of them. We role play. We also go over product knowledge. We go over carrier knowledge. We go over leads. We go over how to increase your sales. We go over every single thing you can think of as an agent. It happens every single Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Every week of the year. We actually added an extra day with like Monday evening calls now. You're on it before. You guys are both on it, actually. A Monday evening call, we bring on another guest speaker to come on, just talk about mindset. Yeah. So we have a training call now, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That's outside of our new agent training calls. And also Jalon talked about our live dial session, which just happens Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. until 10 p.m. Where agents are on there just dialing their leads on Zoom, and we're giving them feedback in real time. We also have where agents can record their calls with clients and send that to me and Jalon after every call, and we'll give them feedback that same day. So the system, right? It's the system.
Yeah, it's a system.
It's amazing.
So when you say find the right organization, that's what they're talking about. This is a part of the success formula. So if you're a new agent, I hope you're hearing work ethic, commitment to a process, and an organization that allows you to plug into you said a vibrant community was your words, right? I call it like a living, thriving ecosystem, where you're just not by yourself, where you're trying to figure it out and you're on an island and you get checked in on, what were your numbers? Oh, well, good luck. I'm sure you'll do better next week. Buy more leads. You're in a thriving ecosystem where people are connected and there's opportunity for people to grow. Now, the people who get stagnant there, those are the ones that get way out on the edges, and they're not doing anything, and that water gets stagnant and still and stale, and there's mosquitoes and stuff goes there to die. Right? You need to get into the center of the ecosystem where it's live.
And stay close to the fire.
That's right. That's right. What else? Anything else? You gave us those three components. Any other significant success factors?
Yeah, I mean, I'm biased on this, of course. I always tell people, if you get your mindset together, your spirit together, and your body together, you're fine, right? My big brother told me this formula, and I've always stuck with it. It's called the SMBs, spirit, mind, body. Those are the first thing you need to focus on in the morning, because if you focus on your spirit, you're going to be fine. The spiritual growth is the most important factor of any type of business, right? And the reason why I say that is because Matthew 6:33 says, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and everything else will be added unto you." That's the formula. That's literally the winning formula there. So I always tell agents, hey, even if you're not diving strong into your word, just always just read a book of Proverbs every single day because it's the book of wisdom. And hey, if we get wisdom, we can get better.
Get knowledge.
Right? So spirit. Then I always say the mind. The mind is the number one factor that causes every single agent to lose, is because what they're doing is they'll get hit with some adversity, and then they'll, for some reason, just go against all the principles that we're taught.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what are you studying personal self-development for if you're not going to apply it and use it?
That's right.
Right? So the mind is by far the most important factor of it. You can have a hardworking agent, but if we're constantly complaining, if they're grievous about it, they're not going to get better. So the mind is extremely important to always focus on. And then your body. Like, we got to make sure that agents, for us, Mike is obviously jacked. I got a little big shirt on.
Skinny today.
But with the body is
Skinny today.
the body is also
I'm cutting.
You're cutting.
the body is also an important factor, because when you take care of your body, it gives you a little bit more confidence. Especially if you're face to face or if you're over the phone, you just wake up just feeling good. You go to the gym, you get a nice little workout in, you're good to go for the rest of the day. So you knock out all your hardest tasks, get your spirit, your mind, your body together in the morning. The rest of your day is just going to fall into place. So we touch on it a little bit deeper than just, hey, go out there and hard work. Hey, follow your script. When it comes to our core values, true wealth, what we really focus on when it comes to agents, it's, okay, how can we help this agent improve their finances? How can we help this agent improve their spiritual walk? How can we help this agent improve their family? How can we help this agent improve their fitness? And then lastly, how can we help them contribute more? So charity, which is contribution, family, finances, faith, and contribution. Those are the 5 things that we typically focus on when it comes to all the agents coming into our organization, because that is what true wealth is. And we want to make sure every single agent is working on those things, because if those things are checked off,
it's good.
They're good.
Yeah.
If I ever decide to get into business again, I'm going to get in your group. It's interesting because what you don't know is that just last Sunday evening, I was in Cincinnati, and I was sitting and having a conversation with Paul and Clark about their journey into the business. Yeah. And what our listeners doesn't know is that someone very close to me, my son-in-law, decided to get into the business. And I felt so strongly about what these guys were doing in their system. I recommended they work with Mike and Jalon, because that was the system that they were looking for. And they're in Ohio. You guys are in Ohio. It was a good match. And Clark was saying, he says they're plugging into some of the stuff, and he said he and Jack are, trying to get up on their game, getting up early in the morning, getting the workout in. And he said, and then I hear Jalon say he's up at like 4:30. He's reading, and then he's he's doing his devotional, he's praying, he's reading and then he goes and gets his workout in, and he's ready to go by 7:30 or 8. He goes, Jack, I thought we were doing good. We are not doing good. We got to up our game. He goes, like, those guys are inspiring. Like they're like our age, and they're inspiring me to be better. Yeah. So like, maybe you don't know how it translates, but it's translating awesome. And it's coming through.
That's
but
so cool.
Those are the little disciplines and the separators, and people don't give them the credit. People don't acknowledge that as that's the reason for the success. But all those little things, man, stack them up, is what causes people to level up.
The cool thing in this, you guys just went on 40 minutes in this podcast of talking about the value that you have learned to bring to a market, to people. Just great stuff. And you're asking for one thing: commitment. That's it. Commitment. And it's a commitment to work hard, to the system, and to the community. That's the one thing you ask for.
Yeah.
So if you're listening, can you commit?
Yeah. The cool thing is that we all can relate. Like, this business is so beautiful. Like, it's done a lot for all 4 of us. And we just want that agent just to realize that, we can't do it for them.
Yeah.
But they just could just see the vision.
Yes.
And how beautiful it is.
Yeah.
You know, Roger's done so much for you, Chris, and Roger, and Adam, maybe you next, maybe. No, I'm just kidding. But like, just like the vision, you know, it's just like, you know, but yeah.
If you could see what I see.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Commit first, figure the rest out later.
Yep.
It's that simple. That's all you need to be successful in this business. Commit first,
Boom.
figure the rest out later, and you will get results.
Right. Why do you guys fight so hard for this, personally? What's your vision?
You go ahead, Mike.
He always does that.
What's your vision?
You know,
For those of you that are not interested in hearing their vision, you're happy to jump off now. If you're listening, if you're watching, this is just extra bonus material.
Yeah.
Adam's been doing the rap now on us for a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I just want to know, why do you guys do this? What's your vision?
For sure. It's bigger than family. It really is. Like, it used to be my mom and dad. They're both from Ghana, and I wanted to, just make them proud. You know, the reason why I went to OSU and graduated from college, like, I did that for them, honestly. Like, I didn't really like school. I just went there, and I don't even use my degree now, but my mom and dad both work really hard, both from Ghana. My mom used to work from home, and she would work 10, 12, 15 hours a day, and she would intentionally sleep on the couch because she did not want to get a good night of sleep. So she would do that, wake up in the morning, go back to work all day long, sewing clothes, and she has like a middle school degree, and just super hardworking person. My brother, he got 3 brothers. One suffers from seizures, and he's 34 years old. Probably will never be able to, read and write and drive and do the things we all take for granted. Yeah. So I do life for him, I say at times. But for me right now, is more just showing others is possible, like showing men or maybe women that look like me with my background, with my history, that it's possible. Yeah. Like, that's the biggest thing for me right now, is letting people know that against all odds, it's possible. Yes. I mean, I was that person that was in elementary, in a thing called ESL, English as a second language. Wow. And I do study when I speak. That person that was like in that school, that was also in high school, that was told, "Hey, Mike, you will never get the job you want to get because of just what I was doing back in high school." You know what I mean? And it's just like so much adversity, and and I thank God for putting Jalon in my life, because Jalon put me on. Well, he showed me the business, but that's not what Jalon did. That's not what Jalon did a lot for me. Jalon showed me God. The biggest thing is that Jalon showed me a church, a Christ, the Word of God. He showed me the business, but the biggest thing he's done for me is showing me God. And we've been roommates. We've been best friends now. And I also want to do business for him as well. Like, we're partners. And I want to make sure he's happy. I want to make sure that I fight for his family. So when the days that he's not having a good day, I pick him up. Days I'm not having a bad day, he's picking me up. So it's I show for him as well, because I know he's gonna always show for me. So go ahead, man.
Vice versa. everything Mike just said.
No, you don't get off as easy as that.
That's good. Yeah, no. There's a lot of reasons why I do this business, besides everything that Mike just mentioned as well. But, when you look at, how, like, your story, right? I always tell people, and I got this from you guys, your internal needs, your external needs, your moral and philosophical needs. I focus so much on the internal now than the external, because I always tell agents, hey, you and your client are all one and the same. We all are emotional buyers, but it has to make sense logically, right? When you get into the business, the reason why you're doing it is because naturally you're saying, well, I just want to make a lot of money. But if we pull back the onion and say, okay, cool, well, why? You'll eventually come back down to the internal need, which is typically 4 things. Hey, family, friends, relatives, or tragic experiences that's happened in the past. And your clients are requesting information for the same exact reason. Why are you requesting information, Ms. Betty? Well, I want to make sure my family's taken care of. Well, obviously, I knew that's why you're requesting, because you requested information the first time. But it's typically family, friends, tragic experiences, or relatives. So when I look at my life and I'm looking at all the internal factors on why I want to be successful, it's not just about the money. It's about making sure that my family is taken care of. You know, my mom, my dad, who give me an opportunity, who pay for my school, took out loans to be able to help pay for my schooling. You know, my brothers who are older than me, they all have felony records, but they literally gave me the clothes off their back. My brother used to come home. My older brother, Alante, used to come home, you know, after 2 weeks, he used to run away and come back, right? At like 15 years old. And he'll come home with new Jordans or new jackets or new clothes. And we were going to school the next day. And my mom didn't have enough money to be able to give us everything we needed to do. And he would just say, here you go, take my shoes. And he'll literally swap shoes out from his feet, the shoes that I had, which are already beat up. And I'm trying not to get emotional thinking about it, but he would literally take the shoes off his feet and give them to me and my brothers just so we can have a new pair of shoes to go to school. Wow. And when I look at my father, who has a disability right now, he literally can't do much when it comes to the financial side of things because of his disability, but he shows up in ways for me and my brothers that nobody else will show up for me. And I can always count on my father to always be there no matter what. And those are the reasons why I'm actually doing it. But the biggest thing outside of all that, because I always think about, okay, cool, well, at some point in time, we're all going to die. The moment that my mom, my dad, my brothers, they all pass away, if I'm still here, do I just give up and I quit? No, I got to keep it going. So I've come to find out that the biggest reason why I'm looking to do this is to just simply be an example for other people, specifically other men, to show them like, hey, you don't have to take this route to be successful. Because like I mentioned, all the men in my family all have felony records above me, just based off silly choices that they made when they were younger. And I had to learn through mentors and coaches of how to be able to go out there and create success, but not follow the same path that my brothers and my dad had to follow. So for me, I just want to show and be an example every single day for young men who's looking for an opportunity, who may not have the best odds to being successful because of the way they grew up. I just want to show them like, hey, it's possible, and I want to help you do it. So that's the reason why I do it.
I do want to ask you, those 4, you mentioned 4. What were they?
For the internal?
Yeah, the internal.
Family, friends, relatives, tragic experiences.
I love that. I do want to say, you brought up a great point that, hey, we're all going to pass away someday. And if my family's not around anymore, what do I just stop, right? I'd say the 5th one is fulfillment of purpose.
I like that.
And I think people are looking for that. And they'll jump around to find it. And most people, I mean, I won't say most people, a lot of people never do. And if you get around the right people, it's pretty cool when you see that happen. Holy cow. Yeah.
I call it the journey from relevance to significance. It's really what it is. I mean, I've seen it in my life. I've seen people fighting to become relevant in their world. They don't know, am I enough? Am I capable? The teacher said I would never speak right. I would never get the job.
Yeah.
I would never have it. You're never going to get there. All your brothers did this. You're going to be that way. Your dad is this way. You're going to be that way. And so internally we go through these things, you know, where we're fighting just for relevance. And then when we can get around some people, though, who see something in us different than what we can see, and they start speaking life into you, and you can get around a mentor or a coach who can start speaking life into you like these guys do, they will not just help you become successful financially. They will help you find not just relevance, but help you find a pathway to significance. Absolutely. And that's what you guys are fighting for right now, is to make a significant impact in the lives of other people. So
yes, sir.
Journey from relevance to significance, man. It's awesome. I'm so proud of you both. Can't wait to see where you're going to be. Hope we don't have to wait 2 more years, right? Let's not wait 2 more years. Let's have some graduates and get them in here. Graduates in your program, and let's get them on there. We've had Caroline. We got to maybe have Jaclyn. There's a few other people that I'd like to tap. I'd like to hear from them to see what they think about you guys and what the system looks like.
We're excited, man.
What a great day, man. This one was a little long. Thanks for hanging.
We want to make sure they get their social.
Yeah, for sure. How do people reach you?
Yeah, so Instagram is going to be at TRUU Wealth. So it's at True Wealth, TRUU. YouTube. We're on YouTube now.
Get out of here.
So 2 years ago, we weren't on YouTube. So YouTube is True Wealth Financial. And both for our IGs, yours is just Jalon Talley.
Yeah.
And mine is Mike Kwarteng.
Yeah. If you guys want a better chance of connecting, reach out to Mike. I'm honest. I don't check my DMs at all.
Or our website, wearetrueof.com.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Cool.
Very good.
Well, guys, thanks for hanging with us for this extended special episode. Revisit 2 year look back, check in from relevance to significance. We hope you found this one valuable, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Life Insurance Academy podcast.